Hi, and welcome to Lunch with Lisa. And today, I'm going to show you how to make a healthy version of a pineapple upside down cake for the 1920s. It's Lunch with Lisa. Hi, and welcome to my Decades series where I'm cooking my way through the decades, one meal at a time. I forget my tagline for this, but anyways, it's called an upside down cake because it's baked and then it's flipped out upside down so that the bottom becomes the top. It's called a pineapple upside down cake, but you can use apples, plums, peaches, pears, anything you want really. Since I cook quick and easy, healthy meals, I went looking for a healthier version of this pineapple upside down cake and thought I'd give it a try. So let's see how this turns out. You know it's coming, right? For this recipe, you're gonna need 1.5 cups of flour. You can use any flour that you want, so I chose some oat flour for this. You're gonna need 3 eggs, whisked, 4 to 6 pineapple rings from a tin in juice, not syrup, 1/2 cup of Greek yogurt. You want full fat version, because that's gonna give you the fat for this. 1/4 cup of 100% pure maple syrup, 1 level teaspoon of baking powder, and 1 teaspoon of butter melted, unsalted. You're gonna heat your oven to 390 degrees Fahrenheit or 200 degrees Celsius, depending on your oven, and line a cake pan with your parchment paper. I went ahead and just used my, what is it called? I went ahead and used the tin I usually make cheesecake and stuff out of because it was just, I don't know, I was worried about it flipping out, but it was no problem. You can use any kind of pan for this. You could use a square pan or a round pan. I use this cheesecake pan. I forget what it's called. Hey Siri, what's the pan called that you make a cheesecake in?
A springform pan.
Springform.
Designed for making cheesecake.
Thank you, Siri.
You're welcome.
A springform pan. I went ahead and used my springform pan for this, and I just put some parchment paper on the bottom to make sure nothing sticks. Then use a little room temperature butter to stick the parchment to the tin if you need to stick it down. In a large mixing bowl, whisk your eggs, then add your Greek yogurt, maple syrup, and combine this really well. You can use either a hand whisk or electric beaters to do this, but you don't really need the electric. It's fine just doing it by hand, just whisk it really well. Then you're gonna sift the dry ingredients, your flour, your baking powder, into the wet ingredients, and then mix this until it's just combined. Then use your melted butter to grease the bottom of the cake tin and place your pineapple rings into the cake pan and then pour the batter on top of the pineapple rings. I went ahead and added maraschino cherries because that's usually what you see in a pineapple upside down cake. So there's a little bit of refined sugar in this. It's not that big a deal. They taste really good. Bake this for 25 minutes and then check if it's cooked through using a sharp knife or a skewer. Insert it in the middle. It should come out clean. And if it doesn't, just put it back in the oven for another 5 minutes. Don't overcook this cake, otherwise it's kind of gross. So just be aware. Don't overcook it. Then cool the cake down in its tin for at least 25 minutes and then turn it out onto a wire rack and then gently peel the parchment paper off the top. Now this version of the cake has no refined sugar, has a very small amount of fat. It can be made gluten-free as well. Since I used the oat flour, this is totally gluten-free. It does come at the cost of texture and flavor. It does the job. You get the taste of the pineapple and the maraschino cherries if you use them. And you get the kind of spongy texture of the cake, but the texture is a little off. And I don't know if that's because I used oat flour or I think it's just the lack of fat and sugar in it. There is a science to making baked goods, and there's a reason why they use what they use. The sugar, the fat, that kind of stuff mixed together and makes the good texture in your mouth. So I probably won't make this dish again, and I probably wouldn't serve it to anybody. I actually ended up like scarfing down a bunch because I was in a calorie deficit and kind of hungry. And then I threw the rest away. And it's been a good couple weeks since I made it. I'm filming this part later. So I don't have it here to show you today, so I'll just show you the footage I made. But I did find another recipe that's authentic to the time, and I will link that down below so that you can make a really good pineapple upside down cake. I don't really recommend this recipe unless you just want to try it out and just see. And then you'll be like, yeah, Lisa was right. This is disgusting. I'm probably never gonna make this again. But the calorie deficit was calling to me. I felt like maybe I should make the low sugar version because I probably wasn't gonna eat it. And I did. And if I would have made the full sugar version, I might have eaten a little bit more. Who knows? Maybe you would see me eating it here today. Sorry you missed me eating again. I know some of you love to watch me eat so much. The two earliest recipes for this were found in the 1920s, so I picked this cake for the 1920s to be a popular dish. See, the first recipe was from 1924, and it was in the Seattle Charity Cookbook, and it was called pineapple glacé. I guess that's how you say it. And in 1925, it was in a woman's magazine on full-page spread. It was an ad for gold medal flour. Go figure. In the 1920s, pineapples were as trendy as avocado is now. So it was actually really fancy to have this pineapple upside down cake at your party. It was considered really elegant and glamorous for your company. And then it started losing its fanciness towards the 30s and just became kind of commonplace in the 50s and 60s, yet still popular in the mid-century. This cake's really easy to make. It looks good and it's super versatile because you can change out the pineapples for any kind of fruit. So it's just one of those things that kind of sticks around, and feel free to make it yourself and kind of relive the, God, it's been like 100 years now, huh? 2024. This cake was first written down in a cookbook in 1924. All right, 100 years. We're at the 100-year mark. And if you like this recipe, I'm sure you're gonna love the next one. It's from the 1930s. It's gonna be good. I'll see you then. It's lunch with Lisa.